Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Today we are going to be making some hair accessories. I think making hair accessories is a wonderful way to use up scrap fabric. It's a great way to have a little matching something to a garment that you've made. And yeah, a great way to use up that little bit of extra fabric that's always left after making a project. So I'm going to be making several different kinds of hair accessories today. We're going to do scrunchies, headbands, pins. These are all really quick and simple projects that you can do in just a couple of minutes. Let's get started straight away. What we're going to need today are, of course, scrap fabrics, pins, a measuring tape, a safety pin, elastic, some type of marker. You can use a fabric marker or chalk, fabric scissors, and then for some projects we're going to need some extra stuff, but I will get to that as we do the projects. You're also going to need an iron and an ironing board, and either a sewing machine or needle and thread to hand sew. Of course, I can't do a DIY hair accessory video without showing you how to make a scrunchie, but since I've already shown you how to do a scrunchie on this channel, today I thought we would do something a little bit different. We are going to do a bunny ear scrunchie. So in order to do that, first we need to make a basic one. And for a basic scrunchie, we are going to need a strip of fabric that is 50 centimeters long, so that would be about that much, and about 8 centimeters wide. I'm just gonna go ahead and trim off this selvage. There we go. And then we are going to cut out the bunny ears. And for that, let's see, I'm gonna cut that on the fold. And I'm just gonna freehand this because it's not that complicated of a shape, really. Maybe just to be sure this is really symmetrical, I'm gonna fold it into quarters. There we go. And then I'm gonna create my bunny ear shape. So it's gonna come into a point here on my bottom center fold. And then it's gonna come down like that and leave a fairly wide strip at the center. So now I'm gonna cut that out folded. There we go. And there's my bunny ear shape. So now I'm just gonna fold this one and copy this shape onto a second strip because we need 2 of these. And there we go. Okay, so let's put the bunny ears to the side for now and start by just making the basic scrunchie. So in order to do that, we are going to fold up this strip, right sides together. Then we're going to sew along that long folded line. And that should leave you with a tube like this. And this is where the safety pin comes in. So we're going to attach the safety pin to one of the sides. Like that. And then we're going to use the safety pin to thread this tube inside out. So the safety pin is going to help you guide this material through itself. And we're going to turn it inside out. So next we're going to need the elastic. Sorry, mine's black on black. It'll be a little bit hard to see, but it's very simple what we're doing here. You just need a 20 centimeter piece of elastic. So let me measure that out. And all of these measurements are approximate, by the way. In a project like this, it doesn't really matter that much. We have the elastic here, and we're going to use the safety pin again. Stick it through the elastic. And now we're going to thread the elastic through the little tube that we've just made. So while doing this, you want to hold on to one of the ends really tightly. while you run the safety pin through the tube. Alright, when it comes out on the other side, you can take out your safety pin and tie these two ends into a knot. There we go. So that is the scrunchie almost finished. Last thing we need to do is to close up the tube here. So there are several things you could do. You could hand sew this around here, or you could just be lazy. And I think, considering that we are making this a bunny ear scrunchie after all, I think I'm just gonna be lazy. So I'm gonna stick one of the ends into the other one, and then I'm gonna fold this edge in on itself just a little bit, so that we don't have any raw edges showing. And what you can do now is to simply stitch over here once, just across the entire thing, including the elastic. Doesn't really matter, because we're gonna add the bunny ear later anyways. Alright, there is the scrunchie done. So next, let's work on these bunny ears, and for that, I'm gonna take the two pieces, I'm gonna place them right sides together, and we're gonna sew along the edge, but I'm gonna leave one bit just bare, and I think I'm gonna go for a bit that's right here. So let me make a little line as a reminder not to sew along there. Everything else I am going to pin together. All right, so I'm going to sew all around here, and then I'll be back. All sewn up, it should look something like this, and now we are going to use this little opening that we have here to flip the whole thing inside out again. If you like, by the way, you could clip this corner, just trim away that point here, and that's going to leave you with a sharper point at the end. Now, if you like, you can go in with a knitting needle into these points and just push them out so that you get a really nice and sharp edge here. All right, here we have our bunny ears, and now of course we just need to close up this gap. So once again, you can just push the edges in and go over this really quickly with a sewing machine, or if you're hand sewing, you could use invisible stitches in here. I'm just gonna do it real quick, and then if you like, you could iron this so that it is a bit more smooth and not as wrinkled, and then we're nearly ready for the last step. All right, now we have our scrunchie and we have our bunny ears. All that's left to do is assemble, so I'm going to place my bunny ears over that part of the scrunchie that I have lazily sewn shut, and I'm going to tie this into a knot. There you have it, a super cute bunny ear scrunchie. Now, of course, you can make these bunny ears as big or as small as you want. You could even make them super long and have them almost as ribbons, or like a head scarf type of accessory. I like this size, so that is the first accessory finished. Alright, this next one is for all of you button collectors who have tons of beautiful but sadly mismatched buttons. Like I have this one right here. This is a perfect way to use them. So you're gonna need a button, whatever button you have, some type of bobby pin, hair clip, whatever you would like to attach your thingy to, and a fabric that matches the button. And you're also going to need something round. So I'm using this glass, and with this glass, just shuffle this around a bit. I'm gonna use this as a mold. So I'm gonna just trace that onto my fabric and cut out a circle. Then I'm going to take needle and thread. Here we go. And this is much easier if you just hand sew it. I'm gonna do slip stitches all around the edge of this circle here. All right, then once you've come all the way around, you're going to pull this tight. And we're going to create a little bag, as it were. Then you can just tie these two pieces of thread into a knot. There we go. So this is going to be your basic shape. I am now going to sew all of this together. So I'm going to sew my button into the center of this little rosette that I made, and also onto the bobby pin. If you wanted to make your life a little bit easier, you could just hot glue the bobby pin onto the rosette. I think it's more fun if you sew everything. I'm going to go through the rosette, then through the button, then back through, and then on the other side here I'm gonna go through the bobby pin. And I'm just gonna repeat that until I feel that everything is secure. So threading through the button on one side and through the bobby pin on the other side. And then when it's all sewn together, you should be left with something that looks like this. Now be careful not to let the bobby pin slip out of the back here, because it's going to be really hard to reattach. But there is a second hair accessory done. For the next accessory, I am going to make a bow. So I'm gonna start with a rectangular piece. Let's see, I have a fairly small piece of fabric here, so I think I'm just gonna make this as big as I can. I will see how big or small this bow turns out. Okay, I think this is a little bit wide, so I'm actually gonna cut it just a little bit smaller, and we can use this piece for the center of the bow. So what I'm gonna do here is fold this in half and sew along this edge and one of the other edges. So two sides. I'm gonna sew up and leave one of these open. Before I do that, I am going to also cut out a longer strip of fabric. So let's see, what's the longest I can make it. I think that's about this long. And I'm gonna do the same thing with this. So I'm gonna sew along here. Only on this one, I'm gonna make a little triangle at the end here. Like that. At the end, and I'm gonna do that on both ends. And since I am making points on both ends, I'm gonna leave a little strip or a little piece of fabric open here that I won't sew up, so that I can turn it inside out later. Actually, let's do it in the center here. That will be a bit more inconspicuous. All right. Gonna sew this up and then I'll be back. All right, I have my long bit here sewn with the triangles. I have my main bow, and I also did the same thing with the little one. I made a little tube, so this one's open on both ends. So next I'm going to clip these triangles here. Try and make this as small as possible so that I can turn it inside out nicely. Make sure to make some room at these corners here. Same thing on the other side. All right, and then I'm gonna flip everything inside out. All right, so when they are all turned inside out, once again, we need to close up the gaps that are still open. And as always, your options are either to do this by hand with a invisible stitch or to just do it on the machine. I'm just gonna do it on the machine. You don't need to do the small little one, by the way. Assembly time. You are going to place the small rectangle on top of the long one, and then the tiny little one is going to go in the center, and this is going to pinch it all together and create the bow like that. So in the back, you're going to want to sew this together, and this is definitely easiest to do by hand. So just run a couple of slip stitches along here, and that will be the bow finished. So when it's all sewn up, it looks something like this, and you have your basic bow that you can then attach onto a scrunchie or a headband or onto a beret like this that I made a while back. If you're gonna attach it to a beret, you can just use a hot glue gun to attach it to the center and then on both ends. And that's a really easy way to make a cute hair bow, but really it's up to you how you want to use it. You could even attach it to a hair elastic. Yeah, the options are endless. And that's it, guys. Those are the hair accessories that I wanted to share with you today. I really hope you enjoyed this video, found it helpful, and maybe this put you on the way to make some cute hair accessories out of your scrap fabrics as well. If you did enjoy, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for loads more beauty, lifestyle, and sewing content. If you would like to support me through Patreon or my merch store, there are links in the description box below. Thank you so much for your support. There is another video here that I think you might also enjoy. You can go watch next. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon in my next video. Bye!